So I guess the question you're gonna ask me is, can you use a 12-year-old camera for today's standard to create a YouTube channel? Well, you can make an opinion by yourself because this video is actually shot on the Sony camera right now. Now you can see what the picture quality looks like. Obviously there is good lighting, but I will be testing this camera and taking it with me outside, test a bit how it handles various situations, so we can see if we can use this camera, the Sony HDR XR-550, that's a complicated name. So we're gonna see if we can use this camera to vlog and to film outside in 2022. Let's go. So this Sony camera was actually released in 2010 and it was one of the best cameras out there. It has really top-notch specs, 12 megapixel camera, 10 times optical zoom, wide lens of 26mm, a super stabilization, the night mode, it has a flash, you can take pictures, and the huge plus for this camera is that you have a built-in hard drive of 240 gigabytes. So for example, if you are going on a trip for holidays or to create content, to vlog, for example, you can take this camera and no need of an additional SD card. So for this video I went outside and I used the camera like I would be using it to vlog. I tested really all the different situations to see if I will be using this camera. It has a 12 megapixel sensor. You can record up to 1080p 50 frames per second. So that's not bad. The sensor is optically stabilized and the stabilization is really good. Like you can see on these pictures, when you don't use it, it's already quite stable. Obviously there are some shakes, but when you are walking, it's totally fine. But if you use the super steady mode, there is a small crop, but it's fine, and the picture is really steady, so that's really interesting, especially if you are vlogging. It has a microphone that can record Dolby Digital in 5.1. How is the audio quality? Normally it should be really good, so let me know in the comments. That's really not a deal breaker if you don't like it, because you can always plug an external microphone. So the lens goes from 26mm, which is the standard angle, the widest that the camera can get, and it can zoom all the way up to 10 times optical. So because the aperture is variable, it goes from 1.8 to 3.8. If you zoom in, you're gonna lose brightness. So I don't recommend to zoom in dark environments, but if you zoom outside, like right here in this picture, you can see that it's totally fine. So regarding autofocus, it is automatic autofocus, but you can always choose to have the manual autofocus if you want to have more options. I didn't use it for this review because I think that automatic autofocus is just more accurate, especially if you are just vlogging. So I wanted to use it in conditions of a vlog, and so I used only the automatic autofocus. The camera has face tracking feature, so you can be sure that if you are filming people, it will always focus on their faces, so that's a good point. The camera has also a 3.5 inch screen, so I'm using it right now to film. I can see myself in the screen, and I have to say that 3.5 inches is nice, and obviously you can rotate the screen all the way to see yourself in the front. In addition, you can choose to use the electronic viewfinder. So as you can see here, it's a small screen in the viewfinder. It's not optical, but it's electronic. Why I like this feature is that you can just pop out the viewfinder and you don't need to open the screen. So if you wanna film in a busy area, for example, and you wanna be more discreet, you can just bring out the viewfinder and start recording, and it will be less visible that you are recording. So if you compare it to a camera of today, for example, a smartphone camera like the iPhone 11 that I have right here, I would say the iPhone provides better pictures, better videos, because it can record in 4K. Obviously the HDR is much better on the iPhone. There is much more processing going on the iPhone compared to the Sony camera. But like I said, if you are filming just in bright conditions or indoors and you have good lighting condition, it's totally fine. And if you are using the camera as a second camera to have more content to film, it's totally worth it to use the Sony. This camera, to start a YouTube channel, it's totally worth it. For example, if you want to start a channel but you are not sure if you want to keep continuing in the long term, it's good to have such a camera that doesn't require a lot of money to invest, and you can test out, start filming yourself, start creating videos on your channel, and you can see later on if you want to continue creating videos, maybe upgrade the camera. But to start a YouTube channel, I think it's really good, even 12 years later. So well done, Sony. But I have to say you will have a hard time finding this camera online, because obviously it is so old that, well, not a lot of people are selling it. And about the battery life, so the battery life on my camera I have here is not that good, because obviously the battery is very old and it didn't age so well. So I went outside and approximately for 20 minutes, like through the day I had 20 minutes of film recorded. I lost approximately 70% of the battery just with 20 minutes recording. So if you are buying this camera in second hand, I recommend to buy a new battery that you can buy separately, for example on Amazon, for 30 euros. So it's worth it, and then at least you will have a new battery and a good battery life. Anyway, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be using this camera on my channel to film a few shots, and why not to vlog, I will see. So if you want to see more content about this camera, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.